There has been a trend in the wine world recently with labels like sugar-free wine or low-sugar wine being tossed around. But often these buzzwords are used without understanding what sugar in wine really is or what it does in the wine. This is because sweet wines and sugary wines are not really interchangeable terms. Hi there, I'm Jacqueline for Vero, where we go around the world searching for wild and scarce wines to bring to consumers, businesses, and distributors across the US. And a few things that we consider when tasting wines to determine if we want to import them for our customers is, what is the sugar content of the wine? And is the wine sweet? So let's get into it. What makes a wine sweet? Well, there are actually a few components that will go into creating sweet sensations and sweet flavors. Of course, one of these things is sugar. The sugar that we find in grapes is called sucrose, which is formed by binding glucose and fructose molecules. When the juice ferments, it is mainly the fructose part that is left over. This remaining sugar is known as residual sugar, or RS. You can sometimes see this listed on a bottle or in a tech sheet, and it will generally be used as an indicator of if a wine is sweet. But that is not always the case, as we are going to see in another video. So this is a good time to remind you to subscribe here on YouTube and to the Vero newsletter on verovino.com to be notified when new videos and blog articles drop. The blog articles will be like the ones that this video goes along with. All right, you all subscribed? I can wait longer. No? We're good? So let's move on to other things that make wines seem sweet. A lot of wines are fermented totally to dryness. This means that yeasts will convert all of the sugars into alcohol. So in theory, there is no or very little sugar left. This means that other factors like alcohol, glycerin, and pectins will also influence the mouthfeel and sweet sensations of a wine. High alcohol will increase viscosity, which will create a sensation of sweetness. Or glycerin is a naturally occurring substance in wine, will be inherently sweet and also contribute to a wine's perceived sweetness. This glycerin you can note as that is actually what will cause the legs on your wine when you swirl it. Pectins are often used to thicken jams and jellies and are naturally found in grapes as well, although in lower quantities than other fruit. They will also add a sweet taste to the wines. It's the combination of these kinds of factors that will create a sweet sensation in wine without having any actual sugar content in it itself. But how can we look at a bottle and figure out if it's going to taste sweet or not? Well, one of the most clearly labeled examples of sweetness in wine is sparkling wines. You see, sparkling wines have an actually very codified system of labeling and the terms used to represent just how much sugar in grams per liter is left in your bottle of wine. This is all laid out by law by the European Union. So, let's get into some of these terms and how much sugar is behind each of them. Brut nature, or brut dosage or zero dosage, come in at 0 to 3 grams per liter, and this is the driest category and our lowest sugar wine, with potentially having none whatsoever. Brut. At up to 12 grams per liter, these wines are dry, and they are one of the most popular styles of sparkling wines. Extra dry will have 12 to 17 grams per liter of sugar, and these wines are slightly sweet, but often they come with just enough acidity that sweetness might not even be perceptible. Sec, or dry. At 17 to 32 grams per liter, these wines will have a noticeable sweetness to them. Demi-sec. With 32 to 50 grams per liter, these are definitely sweet wines, no mistaking it. And doux, or dulce, or dolce, with over 50 grams per liter of sugar, these are the sweetest category of sparkling wines. You might remember from our wine lingo videos that dry will actually refer to the sweetness of a wine, and with dry being less sugar, less sweet. So it can be a bit confusing to see terms of the sparkling wine using dry used for wines with a notable sweetness. And it's no wonder that sometimes people can get confused with these terms. But remember, when comparing dry and extra dry will have less sugar in it as it's the extra version of dry. Or at least that's how I remembered it for exams. Now, as we often point out in our videos, the best ways to learn about a concept in wine is to live it and experience it, aka tasting it. One of the easiest ways to learn about sweetness or sugar in wine is by using sparkling wine, thanks to this codified EU labeling system. So I'm gonna give you homework, and that homework is to go out and start tasting sparkling wines. and think about each level of that dryness and what are the sensations and the flavors that you notice. You might be surprised that you start enjoying wines that have a little bit of a higher RS or residual sugar than you were expecting. So thank you for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below. It's always appreciated. And remember, you can find a great selection of sparkling wines and sweet wines on verovino.com in the Vero shop. As well, there you can find the Vero blog with the accompanying articles to this video. I'll have it linked below, and you should subscribe to the Vero newsletter to never miss any more great articles or content. I'll see you in the next video, which might just be this one here if you're interested in sweet wines. I'll see you in that one. Bye.